I want to talk a little bit about the left and right sides of the brain and the left and right of politics. And you'll find a couple different stories out there. Some people think it's kind of obvious that the left brain might represent people who are on the left, or the left brain might represent people who are on the right. And what I want to show in the short video is that it's far more complex, and that's the use of categories. Categories are useful if they're useful, and if they're not, we should really just abandon them. And I think when it comes to politics, the issue has gotten complex. And I've looked at thousands, literally, I think we're at thousands of data points trying to figure out the left and right sides of politics. And it got so messy, I just sort of, I could find things here and there, but I just ended up giving up on it. So when you take a look at McGilchrist and his take on it, I really think it's a powerful idea that the left brain is about, well, power. And the way he talks about this is that the left side of the brain controls the right side of the body. And so most people, about 80%, are right-handed. And this is across the globe. People use the right hand to control and manipulate the world around them. And of course, they do that not just with objects, but they do this with other people. And so there's a couple things that I think we can kind of cross over politics and get at the core of what might be a much more useful categorical difference. And so let's start off with a quote from Carl Jung. And Jung said that where love rules, there is no will to power. And when the power function dominates, then love is lacking, and then one is the shadow of the other. And so you can kind of look at that as like a continuum that are opposites, and you can't have power and love at the same time. That might be very useful looking at how the left brain processes information. And then we have the philosopher Immanuel Kant, who said that you shouldn't treat people as a means to an end. So each person should be an end to themselves, which is just a fancy way of saying you shouldn't use people, which is very close to this idea of power. And so what I've come up with is kind of, and I'm going to end up doing some research on this, but I'd be interested in your thoughts. And so what I've come up with is something that cuts across these categories of people who are on the left or people who are on the right. And it's mostly just intuitive at this point. But I think there's a better set of questions to ask. And so one is just, does the individual or do you want to impose your will on others? And so if someone down the street's doing something, I mean, what do you care? Or do you somehow want to impose your will on people who have nothing to do with you? To me, that would be a very left brain function. And as I talk about the left brain and the need to be right, are you absolutely sure that you are right? Are you so sure that you justify imposing your will on others? And so that's about the thing about the left brain. The only way it enables an action is it convinces us that we're absolutely right. And then that's why it has to do that, or we wouldn't act on it. And as Alan Watts said, the reason we suffer is because we take seriously what the universe meant for us as play. I'm paraphrasing a little. But are you very serious? If you are, I think that reflects a left brain. And so I think you can find the people who would score high on all of these, and you can find these individuals on the left of politics, and you can find them on the right of politics. And I think that would be a better predictor of the actions that people actually take, rather than the things that they call their beliefs. So I'd be interested in your comments and your thoughts, and let me know what you think. So it's not so much if you're on the left or the right. I think these questions get at something a little bit deeper.